Gary, Indiana is a snapshot of American history that represents the decline of the American manufacturing industry. Although it was once a part of the reputable Steel Belt, Gary is in present day a city of decay. The once great steel industry has polluted the city's air and rivers due to decades of regulation repeals. In addition, Gary is a classic case of environmental racism because of its predominantly black population. According to Anish and Patnaik of Princeton University, environmental racism refers to the unequal access to a clean environment and basic environmental resources based on race. This definition can be applied to the city of Gary due to its history with such issues.
Gary has neighbored Gary Works' U.S. steel industry since the early 1900s. And although the job opportunities have diminished over time, the long-lasting effects of pollution remain. The air pollution in Gary is such a concern due to the release of heavy metals like arsenic and lead. In 2021, air emissions from Gary included 1,019 pounds of lead and lead components, according to the EPA's toxic release inventory. The current air quality reflects the toxic waste being released. In the EPA's environmental justice screening and mapping, Gary is in the 95th through 100th percentile for toxic release to air. In 1980, a New York Times article wrote about the United States Steel Corporation that agreed to halt the dumping of toxic pollutants into Lake Michigan and the Grand Calumet River. Although the corporation agreed to pay fines for their actions and follow the EPA's requirements for water discharge permits, along with stricter regulations, hazardous water waste can still be found in Gary today. Companies are still being held accountable for the large quantities of waste being dumped into nearby bodies of water. The U.S. Department of Justice reported Cliff Burns Harbor has agreed to resolve alleged violations of the Clean Water Act and other laws for an August 2019 discharge of ammonia and cyanide-laden water waste into the east branch of the Little Calumet River, which caused the killing of fish and also caused beach closure along the Indiana Dunes National Lake shore. Like toxic release to air, water discharge is also in the 95th through 100th percentile. Many past and current actions contribute to the various pollutants that continue to harm the city's environment. But who is this all affecting? According to Census.gov, in 2022, 77% of Gary's population consists of Black or African American descent. With that, the median household income was $36,784 in 2022. As mentioned earlier, environmental racism targets communities based on race and income. So, it is to no surprise that 27% of people living within 5 kilometers of a steel mill are Black, which is more than twice the percentage of the Black population in the U.S. The exposure of toxic waste and chemicals also contribute to many health concerns within the city. The toxic metals released from the steel industry are found to cause different cancers and chronic diseases. In addition, other health concerns found in Gary are asthma, low life expectancy, and heart disease, all of which have a 90 through 95 percentile or 95 through 100 percentile.
According to the EPA, in 1998, under the Resource and Conservation Act, the U.S. steel industry was required to investigate contamination at Gary Works and clean up where necessary to protect people and the environment. The EPA also has a hazardous waste cleanup for the U.S. Steel page, where they provided information about the cleanup status, site description, contaminants at the facility, institutional engineer controls, land reuse, and site responsibility. The Environmental Law and Policy Center, a nonprofit Indiana environmental organization devoted to fighting air and water pollution to safeguard residents' health, Lake Michigan's ecology, and the environment. They actively hold large industries and companies accountable while advocating for environmental justice throughout Northwest Indiana. When it comes to actions that we can do, the Hoosier Environmental Councils recommend the following. Following the 2024 Bill Watch, This way, people have the opportunity to see updates on bills passed on certain environmental issues, along with having the chance to speak up about any concerns on air, water, land, and quality life. Reach out to environmental experts on their page. There are many different areas of expertise available, and they are willing to answer questions about how to contribute, stay informed, or any general questions about the environment or pollution. Getting involved. Volunteering, attending events, or following the Hoosier Environmental Council socials is a great way to physically contribute while staying informed about past and current climate issues. Donate. Stated on the Hoosier Environmental Council's website, all contributions go towards furthering environmental health and justice, protecting the land and water, and accelerating the transition to a sustainable, zero-carbon economy.
As we can see, Gary has a rough history with the steel mill industry. From its history going back to the early 20th century to present day, Gary has been suffering from environmental issues for decades, and it seems that the federal and state governments are unconcerned. This lack of urgency demonstrates that Gary is a city that is suffering from environmental racism. Overall, Gary's environmental troubles showcase just one of many cities that are affected to such an extent throughout the entire United States. Only time will tell if things will turn around for this once booming steel town.